Good afternoon, and happy Tuesday. Nope, today is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal Gunn, your financial strategist. And part of that job as that strategist is to help you heal and redefine your personal financial relationship and help you create a solid financial relationship on which you can grow. I also help you to have some aha moments, some self-discovery moments, and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release all of that and soar. I help bring you information that you may not have thought about before, all in an effort, again, to help you have this really solid foundation that helps you throughout this life, your children, and then the generations that follows you. All of this helps with the breakthroughs. That's where you start to shift. That's where the magic happens in your financial life. And when you do this, it starts to positively impact every other area of your life. So last month was dedicated to life insurance. This month, I'm finishing out with that as well because it's a really, really important and it's something that we're not taking advantage of, mostly because we don't know all of the different reasons why we should have life insurance. We don't know all of the different things that we need, that how we can use it to benefit us. It's so much more than just that death benefit. So the first 2 weeks in August were all about misconceptions of life insurance. And there's a lot of them. Go back and watch those episodes for sure to see what misconceptions you had so that you can move past those misconceptions and use this very, very powerful tool. Then after that, I started talking about reasons to have and ways to use life insurance. And so we're going to continue that again for this month because I still have some other examples that I want to share with you and helps you to have those aha moments where you're like, oh my God, I never thought of using life insurance in that form or fashion. And it will definitely help our family. So let's get to that, right? And so let's look at reason number 9, supporting aging parents. Not only supporting aging parents, but as I'm talking about this, I also want you to think about yourself, and what happens as you continue to age. And so life insurance can ultimately provide for support for aging parents, ensuring their care and well-being, and planning early enough always is the better, but it helps to protect the family wealth by covering potential caregiving costs. Nothing can wipe out savings and wealth quicker than medical emergencies. So surgery, long-term care, whatever that is, that regular health insurance does not cover. It covers part of it. Now, hopefully, things get better in the past, but we know there's so many things that is just setting us up for health failure. So in order to know that we'll be taken care of, I saw recently that I was on a training, and was it the state of Washington? I know it was out west that they require you to have some sort of long-term care coverage. Like you're required to carry it. It's not an option. You're required to carry it. And then it was that one state, and then there was quite a few others on the map that were considering that, right? Because the cost can be so much. And with everything happening with everything happening, more and more people are getting ill and are requiring long-term care, right? So they're making it an actual requirement that you have to have it. So let's talk about some examples and reasons for using life insurance to support aging parents and you yourself as you're aging, ensuring that the care and ensuring care and well-being. So number 1, covering long-term care expenses. So as parents age, or again, as you age, they or you may require long-term care, whether in a nursing home, assisted living facility, through in-home care services. Excuse me, life insurance can provide funds to cover those substantial costs, ensuring that you or your parents receive the necessary care without depleting savings. So here's here's so my dad died in 2017, and he in 2016 he had been in hospice, right? And he was able to come home, but in 2016 he was in hospice for 30 days, right? And I remember going to the facility, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, beautiful facility, and having a conversation with them about the cost. So there's only so much. And understand, my dad had really, really good health insurance, but health insurance didn't cover the cost of the stay in the facility. So the rent, if you will, didn't cover that. And it was like $5 grand a month, right? And I remember having the conversation with the rep from or at the facility, and they were talking about the expenses and all of that, and we talked about that it's so expensive. And one of the things she said, and I just remember that, she was like, even a bad facility was like $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Again, this is just to stay in the facility. Right. Now, that wasn't an issue for my parents because they had made sure that everything was in place, but there's so many people that are out there that don't have that ability. So what happens if you don't have the money either for you or for your parents? Let's say your parents don't have a policy for that, right? What is that? Well, first of all, where do you or your parents, what type of facility are you going to be in? Right. And you're going to walk into some facilities that are $2,000 and $2,500 a month, and the smell of urine hits you the moment that you open the door. Right now, this, mind you, was 2016. I have no idea what the cost of facilities are in 2024. Right. Because just like everything else, I'm sure those costs went up as well. And it's not covered by your regular health coverage. So what does that mean and what does that look like? So life insurance, being able to have that cash value in something, right, allows for you to be able to pull money for that in order to cover those funds, because those costs are substantial. And so you want to make sure that you receive the necessary care, again, without depleting the savings, right? So that's long-term care. It helps to provide that quality of life while protecting the family wealth from being exhausted by high care expenses. And you can probably ask anybody that you know, and everybody knows of a story personal to them, right, where there was some long-term care health that had to go, long-term care assistance that had to go on, and how costly that could be. Number two reason is paying for medical expenses. So as you're aging, you're often faced with medical expenses, including medications, treatments, hospital visits, and life insurance can be used to cover these ongoing medical costs, ensuring that your parents had or you have access to health care that they need, because everything is not covered by that health care insurance. Let's say you needed to travel somewhere for some treatment that might not be covered. So there's a couple of things that you could use this life insurance policy for, right? If it's let's say you have to pay for it for your parents, right? You can pull some cash value out of your policy in order to be able to do that, or take a loan against your policy in order to be able to pay that. Now, let's say it's your policy. If you have a chronic illness rider, or critical or terminal illness rider, or a cancer rider, or something like that, that pays you, if you then have any of these issues, it will cover the cost of that. So again, this isn't just for aging parents, but it is also for you as you're aging. And so by using life insurance to pay for those medical expenses, you prevent you or your parents from having to choose between necessary care and other essential living expenses. Okay. Ensuring housing stability. So let's say you or your aging parents, because this is a lot. This is a big thing with people as they age. They wish to remain in their home that they've been in for all of this time. But let's say The home needs modification for accessibility, ramps, stair lifts, bathroom renovations, whatever that is, in order to fit their need as they're aging. So life insurance can provide the funds needed for those home improvements. Again, you can pull that money from that cash policy, from the cash value of your policy, in order to do those improvements. So making sure that the place is comfortable and safe, and not providing a financial strain if there's any type of significant home renovations that need to be done. Another piece that's really, really important is providing a caregiver fund. So if you, as you age, or your parents require a full-time caregiver, or to help with daily activities, that life insurance can fund the hiring of a professional caregiver. This ensures that you or your parents receive proper care, even if you or other family members are unable to provide it personally. Caregiving is hard, right? If you have to work, if you have to, it's hard. Again, look around to people that you know that had to do this for their parents or their spouse or whatever. Caregiving is really hard. Now, when my dad was sick and was at home, so after he came home from hospice in 2026, I was like March or April of 2026. Well, he was home and he was doing okay. Um, and then he got sick again, and the caregiving is hard. Like, it's all day, and although my mom was retired and wasn't working, so she was there, that's a lot to put on somebody. And so my brother and I, we're working, so we can't be there during the day, so we hired somebody to come in. Person came in the morning, person came in the evening, right? Gave my mom a break. They got my dad together, they cooked some meals, they did the thing, they prepared for later, and it gave my mom a break because she was there all day. And it can be frustrating. Now, what if you don't have somebody there? That person coming in was such a lifesaver. But guess what? That money was out of pocket. Health insurance didn't cover that. The money was out of pocket, and everybody can't afford that. So then you have somebody who, someone's trying to take care of this individual. They can't pay to bring somebody else in. It just winds up being a mess. And so having the ability to be able to pull cash from somewhere in order to take care of that is invaluable. It gives the person, the caregivers, a break, right? And then you don't have to settle. Like, you can get somebody that's really, really good, knowing that that's going to cost more money, but you can get somebody that's really, really good because you've planned for it. And here's the thing. Let's say you never have to use any funds for this. Well, that's the win, right? Because now those funds can be passed on to the next generation, whatever, or however else you want to use them. But if you need them, the funds are there. And then the last one is supporting end of life care. So it can be used to cover costs of hospice. Again, my dad was in hospice, or other end of life services, ensuring that you or your parents receive compassionate care in their final days without the family having to worry about the financial impact. I think one of the things that's most important is when someone is ill, having people around them that care, and that, they're not being mean to them. They're not, all of those things, because you see it and you hear those horror stories in some of these facilities. And so you want somebody to have really, really compassionate care in their final days. And again, without it being a negative financial impact or financial worry on the family. So providing that end of life care through life insurance ensures that you or your parents during those final days are comfortable and dignified as possible. And it helps prevent financial stress during an already challenging time. Can you imagine going through this sort of thing, but then also having to worry about finances and paying this mortgage payment or this rent payment and all of that? And so this just, these examples just highlight how life insurance can be a vital tool in supporting aging parents, or you yourself as you're aging, ensuring the care and protecting family wealth by covering potential caregiving and medical costs. They're gonna come up if there's illness, right? Put the plan in place. So do me a favor. Think about you and your parents. What's the plan for costs associated with aging? Have you even thought about it or talked about it? Do your parents have a policy that will allow for that? Or will those costs come back on you? And if those costs are going to come back on you, I literally just have a client who um it's the same client who has the special needs child. Well, she has her parents. Her parents are no longer together, but both of them have illnesses. One far more serious than the other. One is in stage 4 renal failure, right? Well, how are you even going to get insurance for that? Or if there's some sort of burial coverage, it's going to be expensive. And in a lot of instances, sometimes it's a return on premium. Like you have to stay alive for 2 more years before they'll pay out what that death benefit amount is. And if you die before then, they're just going to return your premiums. Well, is that enough to cover anything? Now, if dad has this type of illness, what's the cost of care, right? Who's taking care of him? Who's his caregiver? Well, they are. But there's frustration that can come with that burnout. They still have to do all of this other stuff. So, what's the plan for the cost? So we're at this piece when they're in the middle of it, trying to piece together and find something for them, which I have something that's coming. It's just not in place yet. It should be in place within the next 30 days, and just hoping that they can do that and get that policy where it's affordable enough for them, but that they really get really, really great care, right? Health insurance doesn't regular health insurance doesn't cover a lot. So where will those funds come from? What if somebody gets chronically ill? Those type of bills can wipe out a family's funding, out their assets, like totally. So again, now you're left in a place where worrying about the care of somebody, but having to pay these bills, but also now having to pay the bills that you already had. Remember, life insurance is a necessity. And here's yet another reason why it's a necessity. And it's things that we don't think about today, that if we just have a conversation, think about it today and get the coverage in place. If it happens later in life, this stuff, this illness, this chronic illness, or whatever it is that they need, it might not be a chronic illness, but it might be some sort of illness, or they need something outside of that regular health insurance policy. It's already in place and it's less expensive, right? That premium. So when I talk about getting your financial house in order, life insurance is part of that. And this is yet another reason why it's so important. When you talk about you love your family and you love your children and you love your parents, the least you can do is have adequate life insurance to cover the things that will come up, right? We're missing out on the benefits of having life insurance. And there's so many benefits to it. It is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool. We talk about building generational wealth, but if something like this happens and cuts out all of the wealth that you currently have, then what happens to that next generation? Life insurance is one of those ways to protect that wealth, but also be able to have it to build and pass down that generational wealth, right? So, what is my favorite thing today? You already know what my favorite thing is. Ding, ding, ding. It is life insurance, right? So many reasons, so many different ways to use it. Having that conversation is going to, because no two situations, no two families are alike. So being able to have those conversations to talk about how it can benefit you and your family specifically winds up being a great thing. So complete the life insurance calculator, see how much coverage you should have, right? And that's even before something like this happens. So when we're having that conversation, which is step number 2 during that consultation, because you're going to use the link below in the description to schedule your free consultation, we're going to talk about those things. This is what you need now. Well, now what do we need to add on top of that for these type of things, right? So people think, okay, well, I have this death benefit, but then they're not thinking about, okay, but I have these parents over here. I need to go have this conversation with my parents over here to make sure that they have adequate coverage. Because if they don't, then you might need to do something with you if they can't get coverage for themselves in order to be able to take care of them. So schedule that free consultation. The link is in the description. And then we can get together, figure out that plan, fill in the gaps of the coverage, and also get your children covered. Or if your parents don't have any and we need to get your parents covered, we can do that as well. Okay. The trouble is we always think that we have more time. Oh God, I got more time. I got more time. I got more time. And typically if something happens, it's that type of illness or something, it happens and it's there. And then it's like, oh my God, like literally I have a friend right now who, needs a knee replacement surgery. But what has happened, just not having adequate health insurance, but also not having life insurance with any type of critical or, critical illness or any type of riders or any type of cash value that he can pull from. Like he needs to have somebody come in to his house, on a daily basis until he has this surgery and then gets through this surgery, because he cannot put any pressure on that leg. And so being able to have adequate coverage to be able to pay for that is invaluable. And you think you have more time. Well, he had a fall, which then he knew that the knee was bad. Then he had a fall, and then now he can't even stand up on it. And so we always think, oh no, I have time. I have time. Well, really, do we have time? And it might not be, the time might not be because now you die. The time might be something else happens. And now, as in his case, he needs that extra help right now and needs to be able to pull those funds from somewhere, right? So if this information has been helpful, please, please, please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, but most importantly, schedule your consultation with me. Doesn't matter where you live in the US, schedule your consultation with me. Let's get you the coverage that you need. Let's start it so that you don't come back and say, God, I should have called Crystal, right? So always give yourself some grace. You don't know what you didn't know. You're learning a lot watching this channel. Share this channel with somebody else. You never know what they need. You never know what they're going through. Let them schedule a link. It could be what they've been praying for. Oh, I need something. Oh God, I was just thinking about this. So schedule that link. Don't be the gatekeeper to your own success or to somebody else's, but always give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know. What happened yesterday. It's in the past. It stays in the past. Forgive yourself for that. You, however, cannot keep giving yourself grace. If you've seen this and you still don't call, you can't give yourself grace for that, because now you're at the door. You now just have to walk through the door. You can't give yourself some grace for being at the door and not walking through it. You can only give yourself some grace for not knowing where that door was. So keep striving for your next level of success. You're not in competition with anybody. This is about you, your family, and the generations that follow. So never, ever, ever give up on you, ever. And invest in you. This is not another expense. This is an investment in you. It's the best investment that you will ever make, and you'll never regret it. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.